Everyone, welcome back to our channel, that is Study with Entomologist. So it is the third part of IPM, that is the components of IPM. Again, it is very important topics because in every exam they used to ask a number of questions from this part also. Although this is easy part, but conceptual also regarding the IPM. So in the IPM program, there are different methods to control the pest. So in the broadly classification, we can classify them in two types. The first is natural control and the other one would be artificial control. So what is the difference between the natural and the artificial control? In natural control, the control is solely achieved by biotic and abiotic elements which are working in the nature itself. Biotic and the abiotic elements of nature, and there is no influence of the man. But in artificial control, everything, the control will be achieved only by the human intervention. Then the second thing, success of the control mostly and the 100% depend only on the nature. Here the control of the 100% things depend on the human only. And the third and the most important difference between these two, biotic factors include the natural enemies, while in the abiotic factors include temperature, humidity, etc. But in the artificial control, we have different tools for controlling the pest, like cultural control, mechanical, physical, and the biochemical or chemical. These all are tools of IPM. Tools of IPM in artificial control. Otherwise, if solely control is happening through natural enemies or just by in environment only, the temperature is going to fluctuate by itself, likewise humidity, likewise rainfall. So these are the abiotic factor, that's why it's come under the natural control. Now again, this artificial control divided into two types. The first is prophylactic and the second is curative. Again, this artificial control we can divide in two types. One is prophylactic control, the second one is curative control, or we can say direct control. So now come to the prophylactic. Prophylactic means we have to do something before coming of the pest. It means पेस्ट के आने से पहले ही हमें क्या करना है, उसके लिए कुछ ना कुछ मेजरमेंट करके रखनी है. एग्जाम्पल, रिमूवल ऑफ वीड्स ऑफ बर्न. रिमूवल ऑफ वीड्स ऑफ बर्न. ओके. Then second can be, we can do the raking of soil. That is also come under the prophylactic method only until pest is not there, but we know that will come. That's why the one important conceptual question they can ask, that the prophylactic methods are most effectively in which category of the pest. So we can say those pests which are regular for that area. So in case of regular pest, the prophylactic measure is the effective measure to controlling the pest, because we know it is regular, so it will come. If we will sow the rice in this conditions, so definitely the rice stem borer will come to infect that plant. That's why in that manner we can say we can do removal of weeds of burns, and we can keep the healthy seed material. Likewise, hot water treatment we can give the, if that particular area is very prone to the seed borne diseases and like diseases which can transmitted through the seeds. In that manner, hot water seed treatment can be done, like against the rice white tip nematode. Likewise, seed treatment with the chlorpyrifos 0.2% or the imidacloprid. So in that manner, we can control the groundnut white grubs while treating the seeds. So these are the prophylactic measures. The next and the most important thing what we have to learn, that are the curative methods. Okay, So whatever we used to talk about in IPM, that is curative method only. So in curative methods, the first is cultural control. So cultural methods, we can use the farm or the agronomic practice. We should know the ecology of the pest. If we know the weaker point of their, like if for some insect the pupal stage can be the weaker point, likewise for some the larval stages are the weaker point. So we should know the weaker point so that we can directly hit those points and to controlling the particular pest. So this is the relatively cheapest of all the measures. Sometimes they used to ask the which one of the tool of IPM is the cheapest among all. So cultural method is cheapest among all. It is the cheapest method. And what are the requisites for this? Just sound knowledge of pest ecology. Sound knowledge of pest ecology. In that manner, we can directly manage the pest so that we can easily identify the weak links in the life cycles. So there are several cultural practices which used to give control at the community level. So we will discuss one by one. The first one is crop rotation. Crop rotations means growing of crops which are non-host for pests to break the continuous supply of food and the uninterrupted breeding facilities. Suppose that in this season, in this Kharif season, we grown rice. So after the harvesting of rice, we can sow on that particular field the pulse. Because those are pests for the rice won't be able to feed on the pulse. In that manner, the pest of rice which are inoculum at this place, after growing the rice, because it is the non-host, so they won't feed here, they won't grow here only. So inoculum potential will reduce in the case of crop rotation. Example, cereal pulses. So crop rotation may not be useful against the polyphagous pest. So polyphagous pest, it may not be useful, because if the pest is polyphagous, so he can feed on rice also, it can feed on pulse crop also, it can feed on oil seeds crop also, and the so many other crops. That's why they can ask the question, like in this net exam they ask the questions about the trap cropping is mostly essential for, mostly good for, or effective for. So again answer for that also the monophagous only. Likewise for the crop rotation, so this will be mostly effective for, mostly for the monophagous pest or the oligophagous, we can say, which are feeding on the only one family or only one genus. So those pests are effectively managed through crop rotation. Remember this. Second is trap cropping. Trap cropping means small plantings of a susceptible or preferred crop may be established near a major crop to act as a trap. After the pest has been attracted the trap crop, it is either treated with insecticide or plowed under. Suppose that this is the main crop, so we can grow some susceptible crop or some preferable crops around that particular crop, or in between something we can say. Those are known as the trap cropping. So there are several trap croppings in which some important we will discuss here. First example is castor plus chili. So castor around the chili will work as a trap crop for the fruit borers. Then second most important example is tomato plus citrus orchard. So in the citrus orchard we can plant the tomato so that it can attract the fruit sucking moth. Sometimes they used to ask the question that the alternate host for the fruit sucking moth. So remember it is tomato or some weeds families. Then third important is mustard plus cabbage against the dBm. And what is important in this, they used to ask the ratio for this. So 2 rows of mustard and 25 rows of cabbage is standard for the trap cropping in mustard and cabbage. Then fourth most important is marigold plus tomato. So its ratio is 1:8. After every 8 rows of tomato we have to plant marigold, so that it can attract the Helicoverpa armigera. So for these it is very important. Next is most important, okra plus cotton. So we all know almost all pests which infest the cotton, they also infest the okra also. That's why okra is planted with the cotton crop for the all pest of cotton, we can say. And these are the most important trap crop recommended for the different, like for chilies castor, for citrus orchard is tomato, for cabbage mustard, for tomato marigold. Likewise in cotton, okra is the most important trap crop. Now in this nut they ask the question that which one is the efficient, or if the trap crop is very effective for which type of pest. So their options were monophagous pest, polyphagous pest, or the vector, or all. So again here the same concept only. Suppose that this is the main crop and these are the trap crop around it, or in between, something we can say with the main crop. These are the nearby field where the other crops are also grown. So suppose this field have the trap crop but this field don't have the trap crop. If the pest is polyphagous, suppose that the pest is concentrated in this trap crop, no problem. So it is concentrated, but this pest is polyphagous. After devastating it, it can spread towards the nearby other fields also, because it has multiple options to eat. That's why if this pest is monophagous, so monophagous means it will feed mostly on the one type of the plants only. So suppose that if this trap crop is here and these are the other crop, like it is not the belong to the main family but the other crops, suppose that it pulses, these are the rice. So if that pest feed on mostly on the grass family, so it will remain here only. It will not feed on the nearby fields. That's why it is the most efficient method for the monophagous pest only. So remember this concept also, because it is polyphagous. If polyphagous, it can go anywhere and feed in anything whatever he want, but monophagous won't go anywhere. It will concentrate here only, feed here only. That's why it won't damage the other. So it is the very important concept. Then third thing is intercropping. We know intercropping means in the some fixed ratio we have to keep some other crops with our main crops. So intercropping of the plants with repellent crops is called companiate planting. Remember it also. Intercropping of the main crop with some repellent crop. With some repellent crop, it is known as companionate planting. Okay, example are tomato in cabbage. Tomato plus cabbage, both are the main crop only in the ratio 1:1. It will reduce the egg laying of dBm. So it is reduce the egg laying of dBm, tomato and cabbage intercropping. Then the next will be cotton and cowpea. Cotton and cowpea, both are main crop only. So cotton with cowpea attract more coccinellid predator, which resulted in increased natural parasitism of spotted bollworm. So it is against spotted bollworm. Okay, and the main function is attract natural enemies. Then the next concept is one more. Likewise, sorghum plus lub bean. If we are going to intercrop sorghum plus lub, so it will minimize the stem borer in sorghum, because lub act as a repellent crop, means the companionate planting. Next is mixed cropping. Like in intercropping, there is a fixed ratios. In mixed cropping, we just have to mix other variety of crops, or the different crops we have to see. It's just mix and sown in the field. That is mixed cropping. So it is intended for getting some return from an area when one crop is attacked and the other escapes and come up with. मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग मीन्स सपोज दैट मैंने 2 क्रॉप को लगाया एक साथ, तो मुझे पता है इस क्रॉप के लिए तो मेरा क्या है, ये जो एरिया है ये बहुत ही सेंसिटिव एरिया है, सो द पेस्ट विल कम. लेकिन ऐसा है कि एटलीस्ट जो मेरी दूसरी क्रॉप है, इस पहली क्रॉप की वजह से दूसरी क्रॉप में इंसेक्ट पेस्ट का इन्फेस्टेशन एस्केप हो जाए और एटलीस्ट सम रिटर्न्स मुझे वापस मिले. तो मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग जो की जाती है वो की जाती है गेटिंग सम रिटर्न. ठीक है, कुछ ना कुछ मुझे क्या मिले, रिटर्न मिले. एग्जाम्पल है मिक्स क्रॉपिंग कर लो, टोमेटो भी लगा दो, अनियन भी लगा दो, लीफी वेजिटेबल भी लगा दो, ठीक है, प्लस चिलीज़ लगा दो, और उनके चारों तरफ मैरीगोल्ड भी लगा दो. तो इनमें से कोई ना कोई क्रॉप तो तुम्हें क्या देगी, थोड़ा ना थोड़ा रिटर्न देगी. दैट्स वाई द मिक्स्ड क्रॉपिंग इज प्रैक्टिसेस. नेक्स्ट इज trimming and plastering of field bund. This year in some government exam they ask the trimming of the field bund is the practices used for. So it is used to expose eggs which are laid in the weeds on the bund, and to weed control which serve as alternate host, as alternate host. Okay, so mostly for the its perfect example will be grasshopper. Next is adoption of high seed rate. Again, it is very important cultural practices in case of the sorghum shoot fly. High seed rate. Okay, in sorghum. If the infested plants can be removed and destroyed, so thus for maintaining the plant population we have to keep the high seed rate. The famous example is for the shoot fly. Next is pruning of dried twigs or branches. So it will separate the pest and kill them. Example for the scale insect, it is not that much important. Next important cultural practice is clipping of tips. Clipping of tips of rice seedlings. So it has done to control rice stem borer and rice hispa, because these both laid the eggs on the tip of this rice plant only. So if we will clip this off, so these egg masses will remove from the plant. In that manner the infestation of hispa and the rice stem borer will get decreased. Next is trash mulching or earthing up. Again this, remember it, trash mulching or earthing up. This is again very important practice. So avoid the insect oviposition sites over the stem, so that we can divide that particular positions. Mostly the foremost example came from the sugarcane shoot borer. Sugarcane shoot borer. Now I will tell why the earthing up is very important for this pest. We know it is shoot borer. Shoot borer have a particular symptom of dead hearts. The central portion of the main stem will get dry off because it is a borer. So it will it used to feed inside the stem only. So here it will cut the all the supply and feed here. So it means why it is drying up, because it cuts the lower portions and the root portions are separated and the stem portion is separated, and inside it is feeding on that content. So during the earthing up, if we will हम वहाँ पे अगर अर्थिंग अप करेंगे मीन्स मिट्टी को ऊपर उठा के क्या कर रहे हैं, पलट रहे हैं वहाँ पे। तो उस पलटने के दौरान जब हम अर्थिंग अप कर रहे होते तो प्लांट थोड़ा हिलता भी है। तो उस अर्थिंग अप के दौरान अगर हमने प्लांट को थोड़ा भी ऐसा किया तो जो शुगर केन शूट बोरर की वजह से डेड हार्ट बना होगा वो ईजिली अपरूट हो जाएगा। लेकिन अगर डेड हार्ट किसी डेफिशिएंसी की वजह से है तो वो अपरूट नहीं होगा। तो इस अर्थिंग अप के दौरान हमें पता चल जाता है कि ओके दीज आर, जैसे हमने मिट्टी उठाई वो क्या होने लग गए, खुद से ही गिरने लग गए। तो हमें पता चल जाएगा कि ये क्या है, कट हो रखा है। कट मीन्स यहाँ पे शूट बोरर का अटैक है। तो इससे हम क्या करते हैं, तो ये जो अर्थिंग अप होती है ये मोस्टली होती है चेकिंग ऑफ शूट बोरर के लिए। इस पर चेक करने के लिए इसको क्या किया जाता है, इस प्रैक्टिस को फॉलो किया जाता है। ठीक है, सो दिस इज द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। मैनी टाइम दे यूज टू आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन दैट अर्थिंग अप इन शुगर केन इज डन अगेंस्ट विच पेस्ट। सो इट इज sorghum शूट बोरर। नेक्स्ट, डीप समर प्लोइंग। Deep summer plowing, so it has directly one concept that the most of the stages inside the soil only. If we will keep the deep plow, so they will expose to the sun and in that they will get dehydrated and killed. Okay, so example, red hairy caterpillar of the groundnut, because it larvae stage remains near the soil only. Then early planting. Early planting, so early planting means it insect and host plant. We know a theory that insect and host plant both are co-evolved. मतलब जो insect इस plant पे feed कर रहा है ये दोनों क्या हुए होंगे, co-evolve हुए होंगे, इसीलिए ये क्या बने हैं, एक दूसरे के इतने अच्छे पेस्ट बने हैं। ठीक है, सो टू ब्रेक दिस सिंक्रोनी ऑफ होस्ट प्लांट एंड द इंसेक्ट पेस्ट वी यूज टू डू अर्ली प्लांटिंग, ताकि जब तक इंसेक्ट आए तब तक उस प्लांट की जो मोस्ट ससेप्टेबल स्टेज थी वही क्या हो जाए, एस्केप कर जाए वहाँ से। तो जब ससेप्टेबल स्टेज ही नहीं होगी तो इंसेक्ट उसको अफेक्ट ही नहीं करेगा। तो दिस अर्ली प्लांटिंग इज़ वेरी गुड प्रैक्टिस फॉर द राइस गॉल मिर्च, लीफ फोल्डर, shoot fly of sorghums, Helicoverpa armigera in chickpea, and red pumpkin beetles in cucurbit. So remember it. Rice gall midge, leaf folder, shoot fly in sorghum, and Helicoverpa armigera in chickpea. Okay, and red pumpkin beetles also, red pumpkin beetle also in the cucurbits. So these are the very important. Then the next most important thing, spacing. It is also a very important cultural practice, spacing. So it's spacing, it helps to make managemental aspects and make the microclimate less favorable to the pest. We know most of the pest loves the humidity. अगर प्लांट बहुत ज़्यादा क्लोज होंगे तो उनके अंदर क्या होगी, बहुत अच्छी ह्यूमिडिटी मेंटेन होगी। जितनी ह्यूमिडिटी होगी उतना ज़्यादा पेस्ट क्या करेगा, वहाँ पे फ्लरिश कर पाएगा। या फिर कोई पेस्ट क्या होता है, उनके विंग्स बहुत स्मूथ होते हैं, दे कैन डैमेज ईजिली इफ़ क्लोजर स्पेसिंग इन देयर। तो ऐसे पेस्ट को क्या चाहिए होती है, वाइडर स्पेसिंग चाहिए होती है। मतलब जितनी ज़्यादा वाइडर स्पेसिंग वो उतने अच्छे से क्या करते हैं, अपने विंग्स को फ्लैप कर सकते हैं। ठीक है, तो कुछ पेस्ट को वाइडर स्पेसिंग चाहिए होती है, बट मोस्ट ऑफ द पेस्ट को क्या चाहिए होती है, क्लोजर स्पेसिंग चाहिए होती है। ठीक हो गया। एग्जाम्पल, क्लोजर स्पेसिंग कैन इंक्रीज द इंसिडेंस ऑफ प्लांट हॉपर्स। वी नो if in the management practices of plant hopper, the first thing that is only the reduce the closer spacing, means we can't keep the much close, we have to increase the allays between the lines. So closer spacing increase the plant hopper infestation. Likewise, wider spacing increase the incidence of leaf hopper. wider spacing increase leaf hopper. Remember it, wider spacing leaf hopper, closer spacing favorable for the plant hopper. So increasing in spacing in rice increase, likewise wider spacing also favorable for the vole maggot in rice. It is given in ready also. And Helicoverpa armigera populations 4 times higher in closer spaced chickpea. So the other example is Helicoverpa armigera. Okay, so that in these pests we can prepare a LA, or the LA formation in rice can reduce these plant hopper infestations. Likewise, LA formation in chickpea can reduce the Helicoverpa armigera infestations. Okay, so again this spacing is very important. Next is flooding. Flooding or irrigations we can say. So flooding the fields to manage white grubs, termites, cutworms, most important for the subterranean pest. जो जमीन के अंदर रहते हैं ऐसे पेस्ट के लिए द बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस इज फ्लडिंग. पानी भर दो. पानी भरने से सॉइल के अंदर क्या होगा, उनको ऑक्सीजन की डेफिशिएंसी होगी और एसिफिकेशन से वो क्या हो जाएंगे, डाई कर जाएंगे. ठीक है. देन ऑल्टरनेट ड्राइंग एंड वेटिंग. The famous practice, alternate drying and wetting to reduce the BPH infestation. Okay, already I told you that BPH favors the most humidity. If there is much wet rice fields are there, so BPH incidence will be more. But if we will give the alternate drying and the wetting period, so with the removal of the moisture, the BPH will get die. So this is very important. And then the last method is coating of stored grains with vegetable oil. ठीक है. तो जो भी हमारी पल्स वगैरह है उनके बाहर से क्या कर दो, वेजिटेबल ऑयल्स को लगा के रख लो. सो इससे क्या होता है कि हमें पता है जितने भी हमारे स्टोर्ड पेस्ट होते हैं उनके पास अच्छा ओविपोजिटर, एकदम शार्प ओविपोजिटर होता है, जिससे वो ग्रेन के बाहर क्या करते हैं, एग ले करते हैं. लेकिन अगर इस ग्रेन के चारों तरफ क्या होगी, एग की लेयर होगी, तो एग क्या बनाता है, सरफेस को बहुत स्मूथ बना देता, ऑयल सरफेस को बहुत स्मूथ बना देता है. तो जैसे ही इंसेक्ट अपने ओविपोजिटर को यहाँ पे एग ले करने के लिए रखेगा, तो उसका ये जो ओविपोजिटर है ये क्या हो जाएगा, फिसल जाएगा. ठीक है, स्लिप ऑफ हो जाएगा उस स्मूथ सरफेस की वजह से. तो जिसकी वजह से वो यहाँ पे एग ले नहीं कर पाएगा, तो इन्फेस्टेशन क्या हो जाएगा, रिड्यूस हो जाएगा. इसीलिए वेजिटेबल ऑयल की कोटिंग की जाती है किसी भी ग्रेन्स को स्टोर करने के लिए. और द फेमस प्रैक्टिस इज अगेंस्ट द पल्स बीटर. So there are many more practices in the cultural controls. So these are the most effective practices which are used to controlling the pest. Now, if we are studying this part in early, like in we are BSc first year or the in second year, so at that time we used to confuse that how can we conclude that it is a cultural practice, it is the mechanical practice, it is the physical practice. So I will tell you one thing. If these practices we are doing mostly with the crop, like हम क्रॉप को ही क्या कर रहे हैं, स्पेसिंग कम कर रहे हैं, क्रॉप की स्पेसिंग बढ़ा रहे हैं, या फिर क्रॉप के ही पत्ते काट रहे हैं, क्रॉप में ही पानी लगवा रहे हैं, क्रॉप के ही फल्स को लेके हम क्या कर रहे हैं, कोटिंग करवा रहे हैं, है ना, या फिर वहाँ पे फ्लडिंग करवा रहे हैं, अर्ली प्लांट कर रहे हैं, लेट प्लांट कर रहे हैं, हम प्लांट को ही क्या कर रहे हैं, मॉडिफाई कर रहे हैं, है ना. हमने उसके इन्वायरमेंट को नहीं देखा, प्लांट को, सिर्फ प्लांट को क्या किया, आगे किया, पीछे किया, नए टाइप के प्लांट लगाए, किसी और प्लांट के साथ मिक्स करके लगा दिया, या फिर डीप समर फ्लो करके हमने सॉइल की सोइंग की है वहाँ पे. तो ये क्या है, हम प्लांट के साथ हम छेड़छाड़ कर रहे हैं. तो जब भी प्लांट के साथ छेड़छाड़ होगी, इट विल कम अंडर द कल्चरल कंट्रोल. ठीक है, मतलब प्लांट के साथ छेड़छाड़ तो करनी है, साथ ही साथ हम अपना ज़्यादा जो हमारी फिजिकल पावर्स होती हैं उनको ज़्यादा नहीं लगा रहे हैं वहाँ पे. दोज विल कम अंडर द कल्चरल कंट्रोल डायरेक्टली. ठीक है, रिमेंबर दिस कंसेप्ट These are the cultural control and the very important questions for each and every agricultural exams, whatever you are giving, or even the GRF also and the SRF also. So in next video, we will start from the physical method of the IPM, that is the second tool of curative method. Okay. So guys, if you are liking these kinds of video, please like, share, subscribe also. And if you have any doubt regarding anything, you can comment. Thank you for watching. Be with us in your journey. Thank you.